I've got a nerdy question for the VP offices. So the way that the AMS continues our knowledge in the face with 100% staff turnover, or almost 100% staff turnover every year, is through strat planning. So, three-part question. One, do you like strat planning? Two, will you write an executive strategic plan? And three, how will you inspire your staff and facilitate the strat planning process amongst them?
Team WCW.
Yay, us first.
Now that's a fun question. Yes, I enjoy strat planning. Coming from a commerce background is actually fascinating. The way I see it anyways. Yes, executive strat plans are definitely important. I've read over years. They kind of set the tone of where the AMS is going to go for that year. They're important. They give insight even following years. They can read back and kind of look what happened and compare it to everything that's been going on. So it is important to make sure that the strat plans are being implemented both on the government side and the corporate side to make sure that we're writing them and that they're aligned with the AMS. So what was your first question?
How will you inspire your staff to write them and facilitate the process?
Okay, probably the best way to do it is to really emphasize how important these are. In the past, I know some of them are outdated and they need to be looked at, but we need to make sure that we really put, is that the time thing? Okay. Just make sure that we're letting the staff know that they're important and kind of giving them a means to show them how to write them properly.
ECH. Thanks for the question, John. Yes, I enjoy strat planning. As I mentioned to Adam's questions earlier, I think consistency is one of the biggest important factors for services in the AMS. So strat planning is a crucial component of that. Yes, I think an executive AMS strat plan is also essential, obviously for the same reasons. And thirdly, I think that you really need to engage your managers and engage your team in the strat planning process. As VP Ops, I'd be dedicated to being really hands-on with all my management teams. And I think you need to work with them. You need to get them excited about their services, get them excited about their strat plans, and then facilitate the process by working with them throughout the year, hands-on, like I said, sitting down with them and saying, okay, let's go back to the strat plan, let's look at what the plan was from the beginning of the year, and let's make sure we're sticking to it. Because like I said, consistency is the #1 goal, and that's the key way that you're going to make your services continue to be efficient, accountable, and run effectively.
Great. RWS. Do I like strat plans? Well, I think it's important to establish a direction in which you want to take the services. Be that in a strat plan, then sure, I think a strat plan is necessary. I think it's really key to get all your managers and everyone you hire on board with the same direction in the way you're heading. Specifically for our campaign, I think we want to really incorporate anti-oppression training, so that will be incorporated in the strat plan, and a strat plan will be beneficial in that sense because it establishes a clear direction in which you want to go.
How will you inspire your staff with strat plans to facilitate the process?
Well, by hiring like-minded people in anti-oppression, or in the realm of anti-oppression, I guess, I think that it will really facilitate the carrying out of the strat plan because we really have the same goals and directions, and I'll constantly, I guess, check up and communicate with my managers to see the strat plans being followed through and the hammer is falling down.
My question is for the VP operations candidates. What do you think the single biggest issue facing the corporate side of the AMS next year will be, and how do you propose to handle that?
Starting with Team RWS.
The single biggest issue, I think there are numerous issues with the operations side. Coming from a background where just last year even, AMS seemed to be something up in the sky and wasn't really clear to me. From the operations side, I think we want to incorporate a lot of the social issues of our platform into the operation, so integrating that into the hiring process to create more training, to allow for better communication with the student body because the services side is the point of most contact between the average student. So I think that's a big issue for us. From the financial side, I think we want to increase the visibility of the media outlets that we have on campus right now, other than the Golden Words and the Journal, so namely QTV and CFRC. to increase engagement from students in student jobs in those services, and also to communicate our position within the AMS to the student better.
Great. WCW.
Okay, Andrew Cameron, I'm running for VP Ops, so I'll kind of field this question. I've talked to a lot of people, and kind of the big issue that when I've talked to the services and I talked to you about it, the theme that seems to be coming up a lot is recruitment. It seems to be a big issue. Right now what happens, I think, on the corporate side is we're not getting, in some places we get a lot of applicants, and others we don't, and sometimes we're not getting the amount of applicants that are really qualified to be taking on the positions. So we really need to make a really big push in terms of recruitment. We also need to see updated hiring and evaluation processes. And the way we feel this can best be done is by really expanding the scope of the current Human Resources Department. And I don't mean that financially, but what I do mean is instating 2 new positions, hopefully Deputy of Human Resources Development and a Deputy of Human Resources Recruitment, to kind of work on the ground, to get out to students, to get a wider variety of students applying to these services jobs, to making sure we're filling them with the people who have the required skills to make sure these services are running in the best interest of the students, to make sure they're running legitimately and morally, making sure they're following all the guidelines that they need to be. So I think recruitment has been something that's been discussed in the past, but it's something that we're going to have to really start to move on and make sure that we're taking the necessary steps to improve it.
Great. ACH.
Jake Collins, VP Ops candidate. Thanks for the question, Adam. The single biggest issue right now, I think, is just consistency. The problem is in the AMS right now, at least on the corporate side, year after year, AMS executives come in and management teams come in, and they always say that they have a new focus and a new take on how to run the AMS and how to run the services. And the problem is this is not proper business management. You need to be creating long-term plans and long-term strategies for how to operate a business and how to operate a business successfully. So the problem with that is you need to make sure that year after year you're making minor improvements to improve the service, to improve the quality of service, the speed of service, things like that. This year at TAPS, that was our focus, and I think if you go to the QP now, you can see that that's really been changed in terms of the speed of service and the quality of service. So I think that's the approach that we need to take for all the AMS services, ensuring that there's consistency with the new management teams that are hired each and every year, so that these teams are thinking about the long-term goals of their services. And not just the short term in terms of overhauling something or having capital expenditures that really can set the services behind and create huge deficits for the AMS and for the services individually. Secondly, I kind of bore from Andrew's point there too. Our team has a huge focus on recruitment. Obviously, as you know right now, for some of the head manager positions, commissioner positions, things like that, you're only seeing 2 or 3 applicants. So that really needs to change, and we need to start a recruitment drive much earlier in the year to focus on getting the true candidates that we need for these jobs and getting a huge base of candidates